Hey guys, Shaggy here, welcome to some more Black Ops 2 gameplay footage of League play. I'm playing some Hardpoint on Hijacked. This is one of those interesting maps where gun skill is really important and your awareness must be on point as well, because they can spawn at any corner of the map, and also obviously both sides from the two boat place or the other side at the end of the where the two speedboats are. Anyway, the point is that this map is one of those maps. Well, yeah, again, it's all about spawn control, getting the spawns for the basically pre-preparing for the next hill before the current hill finishes, so that your teammates spawn as close as possible. That's pretty much the point of Hardpoint. You know, people always tunnel vision the fact that, okay, so if you're dominating the hardpoint, then you're going to win. That is not always the case, because you'll realize that when the game goes on, you're going to end up spawning as far as possible from the next hardpoint, which is why quite often you'll notice that the opposition will always be ahead of you, even though they don't have the current hardpoint that you're in, because they've already prepared for the next hardpoint, which they'll be dominating. Because they'll have spawns. Even if they die, they'll still have someone sitting back at the spawn as close as possible towards the hardpoint, so that once they die, they'll spawn as close as possible, and once you die, you'll spawn far away. You'll be confused, like, why am I spawning here? That is pretty much what all the bad players complain about, and it's just the lack of understanding of the simple concept of this game is what makes a lot of the players who dominate quite often do what they do and dominate, which that makes sense. So my point is that my point is basically that you know, there's always going to be bad players in competitive environment as well, and when you play solo, quite often you will end up with players and teammates who don't know what they're doing, who will always tunnel vision towards the hard point, not getting the spawns, and quite often you end up losing. And it is really annoying, because these guys are clueless. They're shouting down their microphones and like, what the hell's going on? Why are you so bad? You guys are bad. And they just don't understand what the hell they're doing, you know? And quite often these guys are public players, and public players, you know, that's the sort of mentality most public players have. I'm not saying everyone, but you know, some people just can't think that in a logical way. Yes, of course, when I first started Hardpoint, I had the mindset that, oh yeah, just go to the hardpoint and you'll win. But over time, I've learned from playing a lot of League play that that is not the case. But anyway, moving on to my next topic. Not necessarily a topic, but it's something that I wanted to talk about. When YouTubers post gameplays of League play, they quite often are afraid of posting such footage of League play, simply because it's impossible to get an amazing scoreline with minimal deaths as possible. That's because quite often you get matched up against players who have decent gun skill and who will want to go for the win. So they'll do whatever it takes to win, right? Of course, in League play you have set amount of rules. You can use most stuff, but there's certain things that you cannot use, such as C4s and stuff, you know, which obviously makes sense, and thank God for that. But here's the thing, man. So obviously, going against good players, meaning that it's going to be a competitive match. That's the whole point of competitive. And why these YouTubers don't post it, simply because they're afraid that people might find it boring, because they keep dying all the time. But hey, the point is that you're playing a good game. It's an interesting match. It's really intense, back and forth. You're trying to get spawns. You're trying to win the game, getting as much kills as possible at the same time to defend your hard points, playing objective. Hey, you're gonna end up getting a lot of kills as well, though. You know, as long as you finish positive and you win the match, then you've done your job. And this is sort of a thing where, okay, so on YouTube, would people actually find this interesting? But the way I see it is that, okay, does everyone achieve 40 pluses, 50 pluses in League play hardpoint every time? Probably not that often. So I always look at the kills when they're playing League play, not necessarily deaths, because deaths will always occur in hardpoint, you know, especially 4 players. You're going against 4 players. They have the similar mindset towards you. They know all the spawns. You know all the spawns. You know exactly where they're going to spawn from. Certain positionings. You know, it's impossible to even counter them when there's multiple players and setting at different awkward spots, such as head glitches. And quite often you find a lot of head glitches in League play, and that is fine. That's, you know, I always complain about head glitching in public games and stuff, but over time I realized that, okay, so all of these plays and stuff is what you need to do to go for the W, also known as win. Going for the win is what people play for, and that's fair enough. That's fine, and people in public games complain about camping, and like I personally realized that okay, over time I realized what the actual definition of camping is, and the term camping should never ever be placed on league play. You know, when I hear these people, like every time I win and I hear people on the other team with the microphones and they're like, oh, you're camping, dude, you're camping. Well, why on earth are you playing league play in the first place? Because the point of league play is to hold down your spawn, hold down certain positions so that your teammates can spawn around you to be able to win the game, to be able to play the objective. Easiest way to get to certain areas quickly as possible, you know. All of these little things actually matter. And you know, camping in public terms is that if you sit in a corner throughout the whole game, yeah, that's the definition of camping. And that's one thing I learned. I realized that, you know, I thought like, okay, so I'm rushing throughout the whole game and then I end up sitting in this spot holding down a certain position and I'm trying to defend myself against players coming at me. I thought that was camping, and that's the reason why I was wrong. So I decided to switch towards the Scorpion at this point because I wasn't doing particularly well with the M8. I usually do well with the M8 if on this map, but it really does depend if the opposition is using assault rifle or an submachine gun. And I realized that most of these guys were using submachine guns, so I switched to the Scorpion because it's better off in comparison towards the MSMC. As you can see there, I failed completely with the Scorpion hipfire, and that's something that I don't like to do and rely on hipfiring others to get the kills for me. That's not something, that's the sort of habit that I let go. I used to do that in public games when I was going for gameplays, and I honestly think that's a lazy option. Yeah, sometimes it can help in certain sticky situations when bodies are colliding together, and that's only rare circumstances, but most likely you should never get into the situation unless, you know, as I said, you collide. But yeah, it is what it is. And yes, Cat 40s were also banned on MLG, not on League Play though. But hey man, people always say if you gotta go for the win, you gotta use whatever it takes to do it. So, and I will always use Cat 40s on League Play. That's because it's one of the most powerful pistols out there. I know it's really overpowered, but if people use it against me, then I will use it against them as well. So, you know, I don't know if they'll ever bother banning it in League Play, but most likely they won't. They've never banned any weapons in actual public games. And you know, as I said, a lot of people, you know, I love competitive gaming. It's what I've always loved doing as a kid. It's just something that I never really thought I'd get into, because it was like, it's really hard, you know, to get into a team, to get into a good chemistry with your team as well, knowing what to do, knowing exactly what to do. But I think, you know, with the people that I play with day-to-day basis on Skype, and getting on, I've got these guys on my phone, and it's really fun. It's really fun. Definitely try it out. And a lot of people don't really know what Game Battles is. Basically a website based on competitive gaming, and you organize matches yourself by obviously accepting the opponents, and there's like moderators on the website that will you know, see the tickets which get disputed if the team feels that they've been cheated on. And you know, sometimes, like, okay, so you got different game types in MLG and competitive, like, so you got S&D GB variant, which my team play, you know, 4v4, best out of 3 maps, search and destroy only, first to 6 rounds, 3 different maps which the website assigns us. And what we need to do, obviously, one of the teams hosts, and once that first match is over for the first host, then the other team gets to host the other 2 games, and that's how it works. So what happens is that if one of the teams win 2 games in a row, then that's an automatic win for them. But if the team wins and then loses the second game, vice versa, then they'll have to play the final map to determine who will win the series 2-1, right? So this is fine, but there's designated rules for that specific game type, you know, S&D GB variant, where you cannot use tac mask and you cannot use flak jacket. So there's a lot of concussion grenade kills that occur every time. You know, most of the times what happens is if you get into a choke point and you get really hurt by a grenade, a concussion would quite often finish you off, and that's what a lot of people use as a tactic to kill players if they cannot see them for a clear gunfight. And the reason why I like this game type, because it's really tactical, really is like knowing when to move into certain spots. You know, you don't want to get trapped by the concussion, you don't want to die to the grenade, so you want to sit back a bit, play a bit conservative, and sometimes you need to play aggressive and go straight in and avoid those nades while they get thrown behind you and people don't expect it. It's really interesting to see how to coordinate with your teammates as well, you know, getting that bond together and it's not like league play. You know, certain things you can use in league play which you cannot use in game battles. It's MLG rules and there's GB rules. So there's two different sets of rules that people prefer. So most people prefer MLG than GB, simply because it's annoying to get killed by grenades and getting stunned all the time and sitting around for half an hour, you know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the 53 kills by, you know, 50 plus with me and Dowski. That was pretty awesome. And I'll see you guys soon with more league play, and I'll be talking more about competitive stuff. And let me know in the comments below what else you want me to talk about, and I'll be willing to do so. So anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Shigero, sign out. Good night, peace. Yeah.